Chill, what you working on over there, man?
I'm always working.
They finally let you out of the. They finally let you out of the dungeon.
Look, man, I'm always working. I'm always working. Whoa.
What the crap?
You're not always working. You're always playing while your phone's ringing. That's his friend calling him.
So what's up, tech guy? You didn't have anything ready, huh? And you went ahead and went live and told me to start the podcast.
Yeah, man, just keep
You remember when I said, I'm ready when y'all are? That means y'all let me know when you're ready, and then we'll start the podcast. But now, you know, so I have to go through and edit all this stuff, which I don't do much anyways. Maybe I'll just leave this in there and not be pissed off. But I'm starting to get a little pissed off right off. You know, I was in a good mood today.
You know, I always say it's better to be pissed off than pissed on.
I was in a good mood today. I really was, man. Really relaxed, really chill.
You seem like it.
I'm going to sit here and say, when y'all are ready, we'll start the podcast. Okay? We
Look,
start
man,
the podcast
I missed a wire.
and you're not ready.
You ever missed something?
No.
You ever forgot something?
No.
Yeah,
not
you have plenty of
Not when my
times.
only job is to make sure these freaking cameras
I
work
got a
up
lot
in here.
more other jobs than that.
Well, you know, you did seem like you were in a good mood. I rolled up today to your abode in the woods, like you like to say, and you know, you were watching your goats from afar. You were also swiveling your head occasionally, looking at your Land Cruiser shining in the distance,
Yes,
with the dew on it, and you were in a good mood. And you know, I was in a good mood too, even though, you know, I'm the only one that works around here. You know, I mean, I'm always working, man. By the way, if you listen to me, all of your dreams will come true and you'll be rich.
and you'll be rich. Yeah.
That's just the way it is. And I don't really know how you could dispute that because the evidence is very clear. But you know, whatever. I mean, I'll just keep my head down and working, you know, just keep grinding because that's what I do. So,
Yeah, you really do, man. You stay in that dungeon packing them orders. I laugh every time I post a truck talk. And my thing on the truck talks is at the end of the video, I tell everybody go buy a hat or buy a t-shirt if you like the show. So I'll post a truck talk and like within the first hour it comes out, there'll be 5 or 10 people go and buy a hat or a t-shirt. And I laugh so hard because I know Chili's having to get down in the dungeon and pack them things. So y'all keep buying the hats and the t-shirts.
well, the people are angry at me for 2 reasons right now. For one, we're running out of stock on the shirts. And now I get it. I'm well aware that there ain't a lot of shirts in the store right now because there was a huge influx of orders, right? And I've done placed the reorder, but all this don't time out right, so that's my fault. But they're also mad at me, our international crowd, that I've turned off the international orders.
Well, that's been long ago.
Oh, yeah, it's been long ago because every time you daggum foreigners, you can't ship it to you. We got problems. So if you want stuff and you live in Italy or Tasmania or the Dominican Republic, well, then you better move to dang America, then I'll give it to you.
What about
the
Canada?
shorts?
Huh?
About the shorts, you gonna restock them?
No, man, that's a limited time thing.
Oh, okay.
You want good shorts with
Yeah,
3 and 7, Brandon. We partner with Barbell, man.
That's somebody asked here.
Well,
Yeah.
no, the shorts ain't coming back.
Yeah, so we got to partner with Barbell after the 1 Mile Out documentary that they helped us bring to life. And they've got this whole lineup now. Chili's got his shirt on. I got my shorts on. But yeah, that's that ultralight tech tee. All right. So the 3 of 7 project shirts that y'all buy, they're like your everyday around town shirt, right? If you want to rep the brand, which we greatly appreciate. But if you want to get out and get after it, you don't want to wear a thick cotton shirt, you know, when you're out running or biking or whatever y'all do. So that's that ultralight tech tee that Barbell makes, and they branded it with that 1 Mile Out. That is an awesome shirt. I wore that shirt quite a bit during Cocodona, and I wore that shirt when I rode the Hurricane 300, which is actually 365 miles on my mountain bike, and it functions great, man. It dries out when it when you hang it out to dry. Blake, you remember that time we hiked to the top of Blood Mountain and we had all that merino wool clothes on? That crap. I have heard people actually say like wool's the best fabric because it dries out. No, it don't dry out. No, it don't dry out.
That wool didn't.
I mean, yeah, it just don't work. But that ultralight tech tee is a great shirt. And then the joggers, y'all know I wore those a bunch during Cocodona when it got nasty and cold and I couldn't move faster than about a half a mile per hour. So I had to have an extra layer on my legs. And then we got the Phantom shorts, these camo shorts, which y'all saw me wear too, and they've got the 1 mile out branding on them too. Just a good looking short, man. I saw Matt Brown the other day was out feeding his donkey in these shorts, son. He had a Glock pistol in the back pocket.
Well,
he had all kinds of stuff in the front pockets. He said, I figure if them shorts is good enough for Chad to run 250 miles in, I can get out here and feed my donkey in them.
Well, yeah, man, they're good for everything.
Yeah, it's just a good all around running, working out, lifting, or just wearing out, doing your yard work and crap. They just fit all the bills really well because they do have pockets in them. They're well built. They're sturdy. They got a big, thick waistband with a drawstring so you can tighten them up.
That's what I like, pockets.
And they work really well. So if you want some, sure enough, if you're coming out here, if you're coming to run a race or something like that, get you some of this stuff, man, because it's tried and true. And Barbell went out of their way to partner with us on this design. I love the logo, the 1 mile out logo that they came up with. It's just clean, man. It's just clean. So you guys know Barbell's been an amazing partner. They make great products. We love them. We've used them hard, son. I'm talking about we put their stuff through the ringer, and it's stood up. Nothing I have from them is falling apart. And buddy, we wear that stuff hard. So check them out. They're good people with a good product, and they're our partners here at 307 Project. So check them out at barbellapparel.com. And if you want to rep the 307 brand, go buy a T-shirt, Chili, a 307 T-shirt. Chili's got a daggone order back in. Look, man, I ain't trying to get rich off of selling T-shirts. I just think it's cool that people wear a 307 T-shirt. I think it's really cool.
Yep.
Well, since when did I ever think that we would have a community that people would actually want to buy a T-shirt with the taglines or the logo? Or I never thought that'd be possible, man. I remember the first time Jesse Itzler bought us our first T-shirt stock.
Yeah.
And
that's pretty cool.
I thought, yeah, this is cool, but I doubt anybody's going to use their hard-earned money to buy our T-shirt. And I don't know how many shirts we've probably sold now. I don't even know. It would be thousands, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know the number of shirts. I could probably find out, dig in the data.
Yeah, I mean, it would be in the thousands. It's unbelievable, man. Thank you guys so much. Every one of you guys that's done that or supported one of our partners. The only way this stuff happens is through collective effort because we're just a bunch of guys here that try to do the best we can. Without you guys supporting us, coming to train, supporting us on Patreon, buying a hat, buying a T-shirt, getting something from Barbell, it just don't work. That's just the way it works. And we are really blessed to have a awesome community within 307 Project. Like, I think that's the coolest part about 307 Project is we feel like a lot of people feel like they know us, and then we get to know people through the live training. You know, how unique is that? Nobody else is doing that, man. I love it, personally. So, yeah, barbellapparel.com. Thanks for placing a new order for shirts, man.
Yeah, well, I should have done that quicker, but, you know, these people, man, they're going off the rails. And I am going to break one of my rules. I'm saying this too early because...
You're pulling the Chad.
Yeah, it's exactly what I'm doing. But a lot of you
don't get in the habit of that.
Well, I'm not going to, but a lot of people were very angry as well that they missed out on the "Don't Be a Turd" shirts from last time.
I just sold out in like a day or something.
I know, and I just want to throw it out there that if you missed out last time, I said we were never going to bring it back again. We might bring it back again, so just stay tuned.
That's a really cool shirt, designed by David Charbonnet. Yep. That's David Charbonnet's design. I love that shirt, man. And it's even the color of a turd.
Yeah.
What you going to do with that turd, man? Y'all going to get to hear that story here in just a little bit. Don't worry. That's a very unique story. And you'll probably get a good laugh out of it. But yeah, we're happy you're back. It's been a while. Last week I did a solo episode because we made a trip up to Charlotte, North Carolina to pick up this Toyota Land Cruiser. And I actually got a lot more out of that trip than I thought I was going to get. I thought we were just going to go up there and pick up the truck. But, man, I get a lot out of just being around people who are the expert in whatever it is they're doing. Like, I can enjoy being around someone who's an expert quilt maker or an expert basket weaver or whatever. But when you get around people who are just at the top of their industry, whatever it is they do, you can be a beekeeper, whatever, man. There's just something about being around people like that. Witnessing the amount of attention to detail, the amount of patience, the amount of teamwork that goes into creating something like that Land Cruiser. What was cool to me is those guys at TLC, they're applying the exact same principles in restoring these trucks as I apply out ultra running. I mean, patient, present, deliberate, attention to detail, teamwork, leadership, communication. They're applying all the same things that we apply, but they're applying them to their passion, which is restoring these vehicles. And so that was really cool to me. I guess it made me remember that we can all learn things from each other because the principles that are applied are the same across the board. Excuse me. But yeah, we made a trip up. We stayed in, where did we stay, Blake? Black Canyon City?
Yeah, Black Canyon.
Black Canyon City. That was a really cool town, man. Took BK with us. Mm-hmm. Took Blake's daughter with us. Drove up to Black Canyon City. Got to do a hike.
Black Mountain.
Black Mountain.
Black
Canyon City's in Arizona. Black Mountain, North Carolina.
I was thinking, that don't sound right.
I knew it was black something.
Ain't no canyon.
That's a really cool town. Yeah. Have you ever been there, Chill?
I don't think so. Driven through it.
It's just east of Asheville.
Yeah.
So if you guys are looking for a cool place to go and, have a little vacation, I highly recommend that place. Black Mountain. Not Black Canyon City. Black Mountain. Got a good hike in, got up the next morning and drove up and met with Daniel. Now, Daniel is the guy who runs the shop up there. There's two shops in this massive facility. One is called Retro Designs, which basically is all any vehicle, right, Blake?
Yeah,
I mean they're doing Broncos, they're doing
and
Arrows, any old classic vehicle restoration.
Heck, they had a Lamborghini in there.
Yeah, and then you had the TLC in there. They're kind of meshed together, and the TLC kind of focuses on Land Cruisers. But Daniel, I have to talk about Daniel real quick, because this dude, he's an entrepreneur. He started Retro Designs, and now he's running Retro Designs and TLC. I have to tell the story of how this happened. I posted some story on Instagram, and this old Land Cruiser was in the background, and TLC hit me up on Instagram, and I didn't know it was Daniel. I didn't know anything about him, and said, "Hey, is that a Land Cruiser?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm looking for somebody to do the paint and body work. Could y'all help me?" He said, "Yeah, we can help." Well, I figured it was going to be like 2 or 3 years out, like everyone else. Because you know what, man? Skilled trades are like non-existent. Like, especially skilled trades that require you to work with your hands and like knowledge that takes a long time to learn, and it's passed down, and nobody can do this work anymore. All these companies that do paint and body and auto collision and stuff, they won't touch anything unless it's plug and play, unless they can just order the fender or the part from the manufacturer and just pull the old one off and put a new one on. That's all they can do.
Or the person's not a businessman and knows how to do the work, and he's just one guy in the shop.
Yeah, old shade tree types, yeah. So can't find anybody to do this. Now, they hit me up. Well, Daniel ends up saying, "Yeah, man, send me this truck up here in about 3 weeks." I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of weird. So I was already a little standoffish. I told Daniel, I finally had a phone call with him. I kept thinking, this is kind of weird. So I say, "Hey, Daniel, will you send me over an email, like kind of a contract, just letting me know everything that you're going to do that we've agreed upon, like the paint, the body, like give me a line by line of what you're going to do and the price. So that way there's no confusion here, because this seems awful weird." He sent it over. So I sent him the truck. The whole time Daniel has the truck, the communication and the customer service is just unbelievable, man. The dude, every week, he's sending me update photos. He's telling me what's going on with the truck. He's explaining things to me. If I have any questions, he answers the dang phone, talks like a normal human being. Everything is just clear. They're hitting the timelines, which the dude told me he could do this truck in 8 weeks. I didn't think that was possible. This thing was rough, son. So I had him put that in the contract too, because I didn't think it was possible. He's hitting all these timelines, and then as he's sending me these photographs, I'm noticing, like, what the crap, man? That, like, we didn't agree for him to do that extra thing, like a headliner. Like, he sends me over one picture and it's got all brand new carpet in it. Like, he sends me over another picture, he's got a brand new grill and headlight bezels, and I'm like, whoa. And so I'm showing these pictures to Blake and Dad, and I'm like, look at this dude put a all new carpet in this thing, man. And they're laughing. They're like, "Yeah, you're going to go pick that truck up, and he's going to hit you with a bill that's like twice what you guys agreed upon."
Running up a tab.
I'm just running up a tab, and I'm like, well, I hope not, because I have a budget on this thing. I sold my old Tacoma. I sold it to have the money to restore this Land Cruiser, because I really love the Land Cruiser. And anyways, we just go on, and I finally messaged Daniel, and I'm like, "Hey, man, you realize I don't have enough money to afford everything you're doing to this truck, right?" We're still on the same page. He's like, "Oh, yeah, don't worry about it, man." But just the whole process, above the quality of work like even more impressive than the quality of work, which was absolute perfection, and you don't see anyone putting out perfection anymore. Like you just don't see perfection when it comes to if you have a dude come out and do your drywall, if you have a dude come paint your house, if you have somebody restore your vehicle, you don't see anybody putting out a product that is absolutely perfect. So that was unbelievable. But when you paired that with the quality of like customer service and just the fact that this dude and his team like made me feel really special. I felt really special, man. Like, holy crap, this is above and beyond. And he went above and beyond. And then we go to pick it up and we get to see it all happening, like every step of the process. We get to see these skilled tradesmen in there working with their hands. Like there's one dude in that shop. He sits at a table all day. They bring him parts off the trucks as they tear the vehicle apart to restore it. And he sits at a table and hand cleans every single nut, bolt, part down to the littlest little item. Like, that's the level of attention to detail. And you see these guys, man, just doing what they love, and it just gives you energy. And then Daniel's awesome. Just a great guy. And I don't know, to me, it was just really inspiring to be a part of a process like that. And why I say it's inspiring, because it inspired me to try to do better at everything that I do in my business. You know what I mean? Like, wow, these guys are setting a high, high standard. And even though they're in a totally different line of work than I'm in, like it inspired me to hold myself and my business to a higher standard. So I thought that was really awesome. And by the way, these guys don't need my endorsement. Like these guys, this company, Retro Designs and TLC, they are like, I didn't know this until about 3/4 of the way through the process. They're the gold standard in what they do. They do not need my endorsement.
Clearly.
They literally have, they don't need to advertise.
Yeah.
They post on social media like once a month or something, and because they don't need to advertise. That's another thing. That's another representation of like when you put out such an amazing product paired with such a high level of service, you don't freaking need social media. You don't need to ask people to give you a shout out, because your customer ends up being like me. Yeah. Like, these guys don't have to do they don't even have to ask me to talk about this, because it was so awesome to see it. And they made me feel so good that I'm going to talk about it. Like from now on, if anybody wants a car done, I'm be like, hey, there's only one place you should send this thing. Is here. And that's pretty awesome, man. So I just wanted to publicly say thank you to everyone who was a part of that. You know, what does that truck mean to me anyways? Why am I so fired up about this, man? I've always been a Toyota guy. I love Toyota because Toyota fits my style, right? Durability over performance. I mean, that's Toyota through and through. There ain't a daggone Toyota on the market that, maybe a race car or something, but this Land Cruiser's got 135 horsepower. You know, my old Tacomas, you know, they're weak as grass. They can't pull a greasy string out of a cat's butt. But you can keep them rolling. I'm talking about, you know, now you might have to jerry-rig something. You might have to, but the Joker is going to keep rolling.
You might have to pull up on your gear shifter to go in first or second.
I mean, you can keep them going, all right? And so that's what I love about Toyota. And also, when I was a kid, we coon hunted a lot, and we always coon hunted out of these Toyota Tacomas or these Toyota pickups. And that's where I learned how tough these trucks were. You just couldn't destroy them, man. And so I have personally never owned a nice vehicle in my whole life. I've never owned a new vehicle, and I've never really had a nice vehicle. I've always treated a vehicle more as like a utilitarian type thing, kind of like you
Worse
do,
than
Chili.
that.
Yeah, I mean,
You really kind of didn't even treat them like that. You just kind of
I'm pretty rough on
didn't
them.
give a crap.
It's just a hammer, man.
I'm pretty rough on them.
It's a hammer with wheels.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just at a place now in my life where I wanted to have a nice, classic, kind of rare vehicle for the first time. And I've worked really freaking hard since I was about 19 years old. I've worked really freaking hard. And so this was like a big treat to myself is what it was all about. And it's exactly what I want. Like if I could have said, I want one vehicle and I want it to look this way, it's exactly what I want.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. You got anything to say about our trip up there, Blake?
Yeah, I mean, really what was, I guess, impressive to me was just the magnitude of the shop. You know, most restoration shops, even if it's legit, like a paint and body shop, they probably got like 2 or 3 bays and then like this little office area, 100 square feet or something. But, I mean, they had like 10 lifts in there, this massive paint booth that they could control the temperature in, and it had a parts department there with shelves with parts stocked for all different kinds of vehicles. And it was just it was really cool to see how big and professional it was, because restoration is not a professional business, and generally, I mean, it's just more of a rough kind of ragtag thing, at least any place I've ever been.
Daniel even said it. He said everybody thinks they can do this work because they did it with their pawpaw.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's what, I mean, that's, as far as the Land Cruiser and that part of the trip, that's what stood out to me was just, I mean, they really have a vehicle manufacturing facility there. I mean, they can build anything. Yeah, like from the frame to the sheet metal to the engine, everything. They could
And it
build
ain't
a whole
machines
car.
doing it.
Yeah, that's
They're
right.
doing it by hand.
Artisans.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was really cool to see.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing with. I think sometimes, when you see a vehicle like that, the paint work that was done on it, that's kind of what sticks out the most. Like you see it, but there's all those other parts to it too that you, like, just from the outside, a car goes by, you don't really think about all the detailed work, how many artisans were involved in putting it together,
Yeah.
But the paint too. I mean, whoever did that is unbelievable. I mean, it's literally perfect. That's pretty wild to see.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the other thing that really filled me up about that whole experience is just being on the receiving end of someone giving me something, like for nothing. Because, like I said, all the extra things that Daniel and his team put into this truck, it would have been double what my budget was if I would have had to pay for all of it. I don't know, man. It's been a long time since I was on that end. Like, we get to give quite often here at 307 Project, and we love giving. It was like on the treadmill race. I mean, we were able to give, and do something that generated this $250,000, and we were able to collectively present that to David and VIP Neuro Rehab, and giving when we did the Mandate Freedom Project, just calling people up, man, and and giving $4,000 or $5,000 a pop to these people who were getting fired from their jobs because of the coronavirus crap. And but to be on this end of it, I don't know, man. It's a different feeling. It's real humbling, I guess. It's just like, why are you doing this for me? Like, I don't deserve this. Why are you doing this? So it was really impactful for me to be on that end of it for once in a long time. I don't know, it touched me, man. There's a lot of cool stories behind that rig already. And I'm thankful for it. So that was that trip. We got back. Let's see. We did the ROP course before we went up there. So I got things out of order a little bit. But like 2 days before that, we did ROP, Rite of Passage course, Team 4, which was actually only the second time we've ever done the course, but it was Team 4. Yeah, I think I know how that happened, but I'm not going to tell anybody. Anyways.
1, 4, 2, 3. Yeah, that's right.
Anyways, man, I think that everybody needs to do that course. I think everybody on earth should do that course. I know it's absolutely impossible because, you know, we're not going to do that many of them. But man, so much fruit comes from such a simple freaking exercise. And I talked to you guys about it last week on the Why Are You Doing That podcast. Talked about why I personally like that mission so much. But it's just so simple. It's like, we don't need to put people in the water and make them roll around in sand and make them carry heavy things and make them do all. We don't need to do any of that. I love the simplicity of it and how that simplicity over a long span of time produces so much fruit in people's lives. But that was a heck of an experience, man. That team was like herding freaking cats. It was excellent.
We got a couple of them on here.
It was excellent. So I say it was excellent because they got so they were on, some of them were on the struggle bus so hard toward the end that I didn't get sleepy in the wee hours of the morning because I was so busy making sure everyone stayed alive, I guess. Now, when you come out and train with us, I cannot compensate for you if you do something stupid and hurt yourself, obviously. But I do have your best interest in mind. So if you're really looking poorly, you know, I'm going to be concerned about you. I may not be able to help you, but I'm going to be concerned about you. So my concern for some of those individuals really helped me get through those wee hours of the morning. So where do you guys want to start with recapping the ROP course?
Well, I guess early on, I don't know what any big thing happens real early, though. I mean, when was the first catastrophe?
Well,
I guess it was Matt, wasn't it?
Yeah, it would have been probably Matt.
Yeah, that was the first crisis that we did end up averting. But
yeah, he wouldn't eat.
Yeah, I love watching you guys, man, because we have such a unique position as instructors out there. I love being able to stand back and watch you guys when you get deep in the pain cave and you act as if some strange thing has befallen you. It's like, what's wrong with me? Like, I feel like total crap. Well, I've been standing here watching you for the last 6 hours and you've ate, one bite of a Cliff Bar for the last 6 hours. Even though I've been telling you to eat every 30 minutes, you've just decided you didn't feel like eating. You weren't hungry. Chad doesn't know what the crap he's talking about. I'm going to do what I want to do. And now some strange thing has befallen me. And I've never felt this way before. So I must be about to die.
Yeah, I think almost everybody goes through a little bit of that. It seems like it's just varying degrees, and then whenever but it's, I don't want to say fun, but it's interesting to watch when it happens in a big degree and you start seeing some carnage, especially early on. It makes it, you have to solve problems. It's very interesting to watch people go through that have never went through it, or even that have, but like it's unique. It's different than anything they've experienced before, or I don't know. So yeah, I think that was the first.
Well, it's just another testament to that. You can't learn lessons for people. Yeah. Like you can tell them, hey, you're gonna have to eat while you're out here, and it's one of those things like. He's just saying that's probably a good idea if I do that, but I'm not going to fool with that, really. And then you learn the lesson, and every time from there on, you're going to eat because you say, I'm not going to get to feeling like that again. But you can't teach someone. You can tell them what they should do, but they're going to probably go learn it for themselves and say, I ain't got to do that.
You know what's funny, though, is maybe it's just things that are difficult to do, but specifically with what we're talking about, the nutrition side of it, like staying on top of your food and hydration, people learn that lesson over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. It's like, it does seem like you could learn it once and then you won't make it again, but that's not, in my experience. You learn it 18 different times, it seems like, people. I don't know what the deal with that is.
I know what it is.
What is it?
I know exactly what it is.
What is it?
What they're struggling with, it's not learning how to eat enough or drink enough. They're struggling with doing something they don't want to do.
Well, yeah,
that's the part that keeps them. They keep making the same mistake over and over and over again, is because people in all areas of their life, they cannot come to terms with the fact that sometimes, given the nature of the situation, you're going to have to do something you don't want to do. And out on the ROP course, that something you don't want to do looks like you shoving some sugary, nasty tasting snack down your throat and trying to chew it up and then washing it down with a bottle of lukewarm creek water. Like, that's what they can't do. And likely they're doing that in many aspects of their lives.
Yep.
So...
Yeah, I mean, because the lesson actually is learned. It would be incorrect to say it's not. It's just that you start going, well, I remember last time I've gathered all this data from my experience that every time I don't eat, it doesn't work. But
I don't want to eat.
I don't want to eat, so I'm going to see if I can do it, if I can just try that. And then
they're saying, I'm feeling fine right now because I've been eating, so I'm cut back on
No, that's what it is. I mean, the lesson is learned after the first time, but then you just keep going, well, but I mean, maybe I can try this.
Dude, I've had so many students come up to me and tell me finally toward the end of the mission, man, I finally figured out I had to eat. and every time one of them tells me that, I'm sitting here like, did you think that I was lying to you? Did every 30 minutes when I told you to eat, did you think I was just doing that because it's something that I thought would be fun to do? And like, maybe that I don't know what I'm talking about. It's always mind-boggling to me, but hey, that's why we train, man.
Dan Burke makes a good point on here. Maybe we should explain what the ROP course is before we dig into it. He doesn't know what it is.
What the heck? Where you been, Dan?
Well, there's a lot of new listeners all the time on here.
Good night. The ROP course is ROP is short
You're
for.
supposed to have been here before, Dan.
Yeah, what the crap, Dan? So the ROP course is an idea that I came up with. It stands for Rite of Passage, and it's meant to be a rite of passage for you at whatever stage of life you're in. It's actually meant to be hopefully one of the hardest things you've ever done, but it's really simple. It is a 24-hour movement through the mountains, just straight movement. So the only standards at the ROP course is that you have to move, you have to eat and drink, and you can't sit down. That's all you have to do for 24 straight hours. And it's done with a team, anywhere from 15 to 20 people. And yeah, that's the ROP course. So really simple, but not that simple when you actually come and try it. So the whole genesis of this idea is, I've said for a long time, everybody should run 100 miles, a 100-mile race. Well, that's because a 100-mile race takes you through a full 24-hour cycle. It has nothing to do with the distance. Well, then I began to look around me and realize, well, there's some people that ain't never going to run a 100-mile race. But I can give them that same type of experience that I think people need to have, and we don't have to actually go 100 miles. We just have to go through the full daylight darkness cycle. And it has proved to be true. I was right. And so things like this that we're talking about right here, people say, well, what can I get out of moving for 24 hours at the ROP course that's going to serve me in my life? Well, here's a big one. We just talked about it. Learning how to do the necessary things in order to move you forward, even when you don't want to do them. And then watching how that actually works. You have to practice that, man. That doesn't come natural to weak humans like we all are. It doesn't come natural. You have to practice that. So that's just one thing that you get out of doing something like this. So that's what the ROP course is, Dan.
Poor Dan probably ain't listened. Maybe this is his first show, or maybe just a few, and he's like, well, I guess Chad thinks I'm supposed to already know this stuff, man.
Casey Jones said moving for 24 hours hurts his bunions.
Okay.
He needs to come out and do it.
I'll tell
don't
you
he?
what, Casey, it's going to hurt more than your bunions, buddy. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you, Casey, there's going to be a time you're going to forget all about them bunions, my friend. You don't have a freaking clue, man.
Got that hammer toe.
Anyways, yeah, we avoided Matt. Matt picked it up.
Yeah, I mean, we just threw him under the bus. I'm just saying, he was probably the first to really struggle like that, but, I mean, not to give it away, he turned it around like really well.
Yeah.
Really well. I mean, I didn't expect that. That was cool to see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was early on. Then at the Narrows, we had the first person drop. Was that the Narrows?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, we had one guy drop, moved on from there. And then we got to dinner.
Yeah.
That's when, I mean, you know, not to skip the first half of the day, but that's when we get.
Well, the first half of the day is just the process.
Yeah, I mean, that dinner is when we get to, that's when things started happening.
So that's the beautiful thing about this mission is it's such a process, and like you and most training things and even we could design things and we do have some things that kind of amp the intensity up way quicker and yeah, I can get you in the pain cave way quicker than 12 freaking hours. But you don't get as much out of it, man. The cumulative fatigue is way more representative of how life beats you down. Like, dealing with this cumulative fatigue is such a better representation in a training environment of real life than having this experience where the pain and the intensity ramps up right off the bat, and then you basically have to taper off from there. That's cool and all, and sometimes that might happen in certain situations in life, but in general, you've got to learn to go through the entire process and endure all this crap on the front end that seems pointless to get you to the place where you're actually experiencing growth, right? That's the way life works. But yeah, we get to dinner. We hit a good meal of Bojangles, chicken tenders, biscuits, and what else did we have? Was it just chicken tenders and biscuits?
Yeah, and sauce.
Yeah, and all kinds of sauces.
Sweet tea.
And
Well, that was mine.
Oh.
and so most of these people have never even heard of Bojangles, let alone ate Bojangles after being on their feet for 12 straight hours. And let me go ahead and tell you, they couldn't tote it. Jokers could not tote that Bojangles.
It don't settle with everybody quite like it does with me. That just assimilates right into my bloodstream. But
It does me too, man.
yeah, whatever.
Here's a tip for all you guys that do endurance sports, or you're an aspiring endurance athlete. Probably half of the benefit that you're going to get from long efforts in training, half of the benefit is the fact that you condition your digestive system to run off of whatever fuel you put in it. That takes a long time, man. And so these jokers were not conditioned to tote this Bojangles.
No, apparently not.
We came up the hill out of dinner, darkness set in, and the puking started, son. Yeah. The puking and the crapping started.
Oh,
They
man.
ran on that dirty fuel, wasn't they?
Honestly, something like this, low intensity, long duration, I think that's about perfect. But we may have to change the menu, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it's kind of just, part of it, It's like,
yeah, it's true.
Look, we've let a little information slip. If you want to order some Bojangles if you're from up north, you might want to have some ordered up there and go ahead and start getting acclimated, because that may be what you have,
Well, look, yeah, it is kind of part of the training. Like if you eat that Bojangles at dinner and then, you start getting sick after it, you've found out that you don't have a stomach quite where it needs to be.
Yeah.
So you've got more work to do when you go home.
Yeah, we're not doing that Chick-fil-A stuff.
No.
Heck no.
That peanut oil garbage. No.
Yeah. Way too clean.
Yeah.
Way too clean. We got to run off that hard. That Toyota can run off Bojangles. You could put a chicken finger.
Bojangles grease.
Yeah, just put a chicken finger in your gas tank.
Durability overperformance.
Yeah.
So we get started up this hill, sun sets. It's still hot. By the way, it's hot in the South right now, man. That's another thing.
Yeah, global warming.
That's another thing, man. I went riding with Justin Sheely and James Ward the other day. We did a 45-mile ride. Oh, trail trash dirtbag, son. That joker tanked. And he pulled one of those on me as if some strange thing is befalling me here. I'm like, dude, it's 98 degrees with 100% humidity right now. Like, what? Why are you confused about the way you feel?
He's on there. Sheely,
I know he's on here. I know he's on here. That's why I'm taking the liberty to talk some mad crap about him. Look, man, this heat is brutal. And during the ROP course, I heard one of the students say, about after dark, they said, isn't it supposed to cool down at night? No. It's still just as hot at night as it is during the daytime. You got something to say, Blake?
I was just, when you mentioned the night, I remember old Greg, he said, what is making all that noise? And we told him about them bugs. He said, I've never heard a noise sound like a Home Depot theft alarm going on.
Talking about cicadas?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're loud as crap. I love cicadas, man. I love the sound they make. But we're easing up this hill, and one of our students, Shannon, Well, one of the other students dropped back to me and said, "Hey, Shannon's really having some pukes up here." And I said, "All right, let's go up here, Chili. You know, Chili's the medic." And so we ease up there. Let me tell you, man, old Shannon, tough as freaking nails, son.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she's walking. We get up to her. I look over at her, and she's white as a sheet. And she goes mid-stride and projectile vomits Bojangles mush, like straight out, and never even misses a step, son. Just clicks them off, turns her head, and just blows it out. And I'm like, oh, heck yeah, man. I freaking love seeing people puke like that, right? Like, y'all know how everybody else, when they puke, they kind of get in this position. They kind of put their hands on their knees and they squat down and they kind of gag themselves. And I'm like, look, man, if you're gonna freaking puke, just puke. But we ain't gonna sit here for 5 minutes because you feel like you gotta puke. Puke now or get on your feet and move. That's the standard. This lady don't miss a dang lick, son. Okay? She's over there puking. Chili starts triaging her, you know, telling her what she's going to need to do to get through this. And the first thing I heard her say was, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can still do this.
Yep.
Like, in the condition she was in, that's all she was thinking was, I can still do this. That was freaking impressive, man.
Oh, yeah. I spent some time with her through the night. Yeah, she's tough as a cob, man. Ain't no doubt about that. And did everything she needed to do to fix it, which, you know, most people in that condition just ain't even – all they want to do is dig themselves a hole even more because they're tired of doing the crap that they need to do, eating and drinking. I mean, they're tired of, you know, she just didn't miss it. Nothing. Yeah. Didn't miss anything. And – that ain't easy, man. And I didn't enjoy to watch her puke for the 6th time because I was sitting there going, man, ain't like, there's not a way to not be weak after this. I mean, it makes you weak, man. You lose all the calories you had ate. You're dehydrated, and you can start trying to fix that, but you're behind. And
yeah, you ain't gonna fix it out there.
No, not really. And it didn't even matter. Just didn't freaking matter.
I loved it. I loved it.
Jeez.
I love watching people puke, man.
Well, I liked seeing her stay strong throughout it, but I didn't. At first, I was thinking, "Woof, this ain't good." But like you said, I think the best thing ever. You missed the one that was great when she had. This was a legendary puking rally. I mean, you hear people talk about that. Not many people even do it when they think they do. This was a truly legendary puking rally, and she fought it for a long time. Had this spell, went a long way, was eating and drinking. We were trying to do it slowly. I was trying to help her do it slowly so she didn't throw up again. Man, we got up a little, you know, the climb's long. We were up there good ways after this, and I see her look to the side, and I'm like, what's that? And then here it comes again. And I go, oh, man, I was hoping we could keep it down from here on out. But she literally, it was like her left leg went forward, turned her head, threw up, and without even missing a step, the right leg, then it just took the next step, and then she kept going. And I was like, she literally didn't even stop. Mm-hmm. And then you said you saw her do that earlier, right? I mean, I was like, that's unbelievable. I've never seen anybody do that.
It was strong, man.
Yeah.
It was strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
We get to watch this, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we get to see this happen.
Yeah.
It's even good for me to see stuff like that happen because I'm sitting there, I know what it's like to be in the pain cave, and I'm asking myself, would I keep going the way she's going right now if I was in her shape? I don't know, man. I ain't been in that bad of shape in a long time.
You know, it ain't even the fact that she kept going either. It's the fact that she kept doing everything right.
Yeah.
Because I was up there with her. She was up there worrying about, not worrying, but, checking in on her teammate behind her, and still trying to eat and drink, and still, being deliberate with her steps. I mean,
she never gave up.
No,
man.
that's another level though of just not even quitting. That's staying in it.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother level. But a lot of people take pride in the fact that they just got through something and didn't quit. I don't really give a crap about that. If you can quit and finish something, but she didn't quit.
She got through with some style.
Yeah.
We got a good comment right here from our boy Justin Milford.
Oh, Tin Man.
He just gave.
We're going to talk about you, Tin Man.
He said he'd give a $50 super chat. And he
Dang, I
said,
appreciate that, brother.
He said, y'all take it easy on me now. Hashtag Tin Man.
The Tin Man.
He said, I now understand why you eat oily mackerel. Love y'all. My life has been changed. Anxiety is non-existent. My wife is still waiting on the other shoe to drop, but it ain't happening.
That's awesome, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I love hearing back from the students and their perspective after it's done, because we all part ways, and then I don't really get to see how it impacts these individuals later on when they get home and stuff. And I hope it's doing what it needs to do. But we've gotten to hear from a lot of people after this team, and it's really just confirmed that we're doing the right thing. And after Shannon kind of gets back on her feet, we get attacked by a massive freaking copperhead.
Yeah.
And that was a wild situation. That was a mean copperhead, dude. Yeah. Like, usually they'll just lay there and you never even see them. You just walk by them. This joker was coming after.
He wanted some.
He was striking.
Yeah. It was coming after us. And of course, the students, it got really crazy in there, right? Some of them were running away from the snake, but then the snake would change direction and they were running then towards the snake. Some of them were jumping. Some of them just stopped. Finally, I just said, everybody just stop. And if you happen to be the one that gets bit, you're just in trouble. But we're about to have 4 or 5 people get bit up in here if we keep playing this game.
Vicious copperheads.
That joker
man.
was rough, son.
Well, they ain't near as bad as them yellow jackets.
Oh, no.
I'd way rather get bit by a copperhead.
Are them vicious squirrels?
Yeah.
That was the first part of the day. Yeah.
So
that thing was mean.
we make it around that obstacle, get on into the night, and then Shannon is no longer the biggest concern. Who started puking next?
Well, I mentioned Cash earlier. You talked about how Shannon didn't even put her, she didn't even break stride.
Yeah.
We got to watch Cash. He put his hands on his knees. He sat there for like a minute trying to.
He did the traditional puke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know that he got much out that first attempt.
No,
he wanted to.
Yeah.
But.
Well,
he got stung.
Yeah.
Remember, speaking of your vicious yellow jackets, a few people got stung. I think Blake got stung.
Yeah, I got stung.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if you're going to go in the woods right now in Georgia, you're going to get stung.
I got stung at your house
running
the other day.
Just going to get stung. That's just period. These freaking yellow jackets, something about this year, the yellow jackets and the wasps are just off the charts, man. They're everywhere.
Meaner than they've ever been.
Yeah. I went in, toward the end of the ROP course, I went into the woods to take a dump. And these hornets started pouring out of a hollow tree. And they were flying right into my headlamp, pinging me in my face. They're everywhere,
I bet
dude.
you pinched that turd off, didn't you?
Yeah. I tore out of there and find me a different spot, man. Oh, man. But let's see. We're coming down off the mountain. That's where Tin Man starts locking up.
Yep.
Elliot.
Well, they all started locking up long before that, but I guess that might have been the height of it.
Yeah, that's where Elliot and Tin Man were kind of leapfrogging back and forth. Yeah. They were both in about the same condition.
Well, that's when people realize that they'd actually rather be going up a lot of the times when they have their knee and hip trouble.
Yeah.
They can move all right going up, but then the down is rough.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I remember Tin Man walking, and he was so tired he wouldn't even turn around and look. So he just calls out, "Is there an instructor around here?" And I said, "Yeah."
Tin Man was stove up, man. He wasn't tired. He just couldn't move.
I said, "I'm back here, Tin Man." And he said, "Are my legs going to keep hurting like this the rest of the time?" I said, "Yep, probably so, Tin Man."
There's a high probability.
Yep, probably so.
Yeah, your condition seems to be permanent.
Yeah. So that's where we got to watch Elliot and Tin Man kind of leapfrog with each other and try to figure out what was happening to their bodies. What was happening to their bodies was just a natural process of going through something like that for the first time ever. Nothing wrong with you. Your body's just freaking out, man. It's just a natural part when you've never done anything like that before. But it's fun to watch, nonetheless. It's fun to watch people push through that, because that's another awesome thing about that mission is even though they looked freaking terrible, if somebody would have just came off the street and seen them the way they were moving, they would have called an ambulance, right? But watching them have to work through that and continuing to maintain the standard, which is you just have to keep moving. I don't care how slow you're moving. If you're moving, you're maintaining the standard.
Yeah.
You know? And so to watch them have to deal with that level of discomfort, their bodies all dysregulated and freaking out, and they look like they need to be wheeled off to an emergency room somewhere, but they keep the standard at the forefront of their mind, and they continue to move as fast as they possibly can. And I just love seeing that happen, man. Then we get to our next resupply down there. And this is where what you going to do with that turd comes from. So by this point, there were some members of the team that had lost most, if not all, sense of humanity.
Yeah, we ain't even talking about the crap in the beds.
They were reduced to a very primal state, which I also like seeing that, but I think there'll be another standard added to the ROP course now. So now it's going to be, you have to move, you have to eat, drink, you can't sit down, and you have to maintain your honor.
Yeah.
Like, I think we're going to add a fourth standard in there.
Your
Have
dignity.
some sort of dignity.
Yeah. You have to maintain your honor. So, we're,
I know 24 hours is a long time, but that's that ain't
That's a little early to be doing that.
that ain't that long to turn into a dang animal, man.
this is why we train, man. This is why we train. This is why we train the way we train, is to give people the opportunity to kind of flirt that line to where they're reaching this point where they're so dysregulated that, and by the way, guys, you don't have to get this dysregulated if you show up prepared. But getting people to the point where they're having to flirt with this line to where it becomes hard to maintain your honor. It becomes hard to do what's right. You know, it's really, really easy for all of us to walk around in our day-to-day lives and do the right thing, like have some honor about us, when there's really nothing bad happening. Where you separate professionals from amateurs is when you look at someone who can continue to do the right things or do what's right, period, when all hell is breaking loose within their own self and even around them. You got to practice that, man. You got to see what that feels like. And when you're in the midst of it, you might do the wrong freaking things. Like you might go over to the side of the parking lot and drop your drawers and take a big freaking dump underneath the trail sign. Like, you might do that. But it's I don't want to say it's okay that you do that, but because it's in a training environment, like, I expect people to do some of the wrong things. Like, I expect people to miss the mark. If they do everything right and they don't miss the mark on some things, well, we're not doing our job. We're not going hard enough, man. That's the point of it, right? So I don't ever get mad about this stuff. It's on the individual in the midst of a challenge like this. When you do something wrong, when your honor does slip, it's on the individual to take the lesson away from that, to accept the fact that they did do something wrong, and then to make the decision that they're going to tighten up. Even in the midst of all this stuff they're feeling, they're going to tighten up and they're going to do better. That's the only way it works. There are no secrets, man. That's why all y'all think there's some secret, man. Like, how do you go out and do this crazy hard stuff, and most of the time you make it look easy, and pretty much all the time you maintain your honor? Was because you've done it hundreds of times. There's no secret. There's no way to be able to go through something like this and do it perfectly on your first try, unless you've been doing it for years and years and years beforehand. So that's why we train. And so one of our team members took a big fat steamer, as James Ward would say, in a inappropriate area, and
just set his wipes down on top of it.
One thing that we're dedicated to at 307 Project is being very honest with everybody that we are blessed enough to have the opportunity to train. So, in other words, if you do something stupid, we're going to call you out for it. We're going to be straight up with you. We might even raise our voice a little bit to let you know that what you did was really screwed up. We're dedicated to that. It's really odd that we do that, though, because I think people in the beginning are caught off guard by that, by like the abrasiveness of it. But ultimately, they end up loving it, and they're like, dang, I wish the guys and girls around me in my day-to-day life would call me out like this. Because I'm getting by with a bunch of crap. I'm getting by with doing a bunch of stupid stuff. And everybody around me that says they're my friend, they're just letting me do it. They're not saying anything to me. What kind of friend is that? Right? So that's the reason why we conduct ourselves the way we do during these training missions. So Instructor James calls this individual out about letting this turd by the sign over there. He Rogers up about it immediately. We didn't know who it was. He Rogers up immediately, which was impressive, man. Look, there's a huge lesson in that. I'm really proud of him for doing that. Because when you do something freaking stupid at your job, in your personal life, whatever, trust me, I know, because I've lived through it. When you do something stupid, the best possible thing, the best possible course of action for you is to Roger up immediately, say, yep, that was me, to accept whatever the repercussions are, and to do your best to fix the problem and to fix yourself moving forward. That's like the best course of action. If you try to hesitate, if you try to make an excuse, if you try to beat around, the dude had in this situation, the dude had every excuse in the world. He could say, I just couldn't hold it. I couldn't hold it. I had to do it. Or he didn't even have to say it was him. He didn't have to do any of that. But he made the decision to roger up, deal with the consequences, and even just the feeling of looking like a turd in front of your team, right? Like, is what it is. So I liked that, man. I liked seeing him do that. But anyways, the turd was still there, even after he rogered up. So I'm squatted down in a third world squat over there eating me a can of smoked mackerel on some Ritz crackers.
Jeez.
And I just thought, well, the turd's still there. So I just said, hey, buddy, what do you plan to do with that turd? Because it can't stay there. And I think old James got a good laugh of that. Oh, it's not every day you get to ask another man what his plans are with a turd. What are your plans to do with that turd?
Yeah, man, a few options.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
He made it right. I'm proud of him for rogering up with that. Huge, huge moment of growth for him, I'm sure. It's amazing what you can learn from taking a crap under a sign in the woods.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot from that.
That was a lot that happened at that resupply point.
Yes.
I mean, there was projectile vomiting.
Yeah.
Yes.
By the same one.
Same individual.
There was, geez, yeah, there was.
We had a sitter.
Yeah, we had somebody sit down.
Yeah, I mean, that was an eventful one.
That's how you know, man. That's how you know we're training right.
Yeah.
Man, that's how you know we're training right. That's
on the brink.
So rewarding. Just pushing up against that brink, man.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there was a lot happened there. And it was really impressive, though, because the team rallied, mainly because of a single individual named Greg. And Greg is this dude that peddles meat around the country. He's a meat peddler. He's got a dad bod, very unassuming. You would never know that this dude was going to be the one to step up, to lead. And a lot of you guys ask me, what does it mean to lead, man? You overcomplicate what it means to lead. You really do. This dude steps up and leads, and how does he lead? He's calling his teammates to a higher standard. He's calling his teammates to maintain the standard. He's encouraging his teammates. He's using his voice. He's not thinking about himself.
He's got a plan.
Yeah, he's putting together decent plans.
Yep.
Like, you don't have to be a genius. I mean, the dude had very limited, talking about putting together a plan, like, they don't know what's coming.
Yeah.
Like, he had very limited information to plan on. So he's just calling everybody around him to, hey, guys, let's tighten up. Let's meet the standard. Here's a way I think we can do it. And he's encouraging the people around him. And he was able to rally them up after that, pretty much catastrophe. And they went out as a team and finished the mission strong. They finished strong, which was another just impressive show from that particular team, I thought.
Yeah.
I watched them when we were we were walking that last mile or so. I watched them. Nobody was sleepwalking. Everybody had their heads up. They were maintaining their formation, even without talking. And so they graduated. They graduated well. And I think there was so much fruit that came out of that. And I was so thankful to be a part of it, man. Thanks to everybody out there who has the courage to do something like this. And everybody out there who, I guess, prioritizes their desire to become better. Because out of the tens of thousands of people that will listen to this, less than 1% will ever have the courage or will ever have the level of commitment that it takes just to show up to something like this, especially after hearing us talk about it. We're the worst marketers on earth. I don't know how we stay in business. Like, we're just straight honest with you, man. Like, what other company is going to come on and talk about what they do in this way? Nobody. It's the worst marketing ever, because now the people who are on the fence, I know how y'all are. You're going to be like, yeah, I sure ain't doing that now. Well, that's fine, because you're the wrong type of person. Now, you can turn that around. You don't have to be that type of person. But when I hear stuff like this, when I hear about challenges, when I hear about events, when I hear about training, and when I hear about it, and it's really harder than I expected it to be, it makes me want to do it that much more. That's how I am. That's how I'm wired. Personally. It's worked for me. What's up, Chill?
Well, I mean, you say you're a bad marketer. I mean, this isn't an attempt at marketing. It's just telling the truth of what the ROP course is. And if you're even mildly interested, why would we sit here and paint a rosy picture and act like it's going to be great and, you're probably going to get through it and your bunions might get a little sore, but that's it. No, it's like, this is just what it's going to be like. And like Chad said earlier, if you want to mitigate some of these issues and dysregulation, train harder before you come. But no, I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. So, yeah, if you aren't looking for that, well, then don't sign up. I mean, that would be a grave mistake. Yeah. I mean, that's probably a bad idea then if you're just looking for something that is just easy and, you're going to come away with some mild.
There's plenty of that out there.
Yeah.
Plenty of those. You could go do a what do they call those obstacle course races?
Oh, I don't know.
Spartan race or something?
Oh.
Go to a Spartan race.
Well, and you got to baptize 3 people.
Yes.
At the end.
Yep. We got through, got back, ate some breakfast, got to share the gospel with the team, and we got to baptize James. James was out there on his birthday.
Yeah.
Not James the instructor, James the team member, the student. It was his 30th birthday. Got to baptize James, Garrett.
Yep, Garrick.
And Garrick. And also Greg.
Yep.
That was really cool, man.
Greg, man. That's
Old
a
Greg.
dude, isn't it?
Old meat peddler. Most unassuming dude. I mean, when you saw Greg, what'd you think about Greg when you first saw Greg? It's like on the start line of an ultra marathon. You look at these people around you and you think you can guess who's going to make it or not. Sometimes you might be accurate, but there's going to be a sleeper in there somewhere.
Well, when I first really saw Greg or talked to him, it was it was Friday evening, and I said, yeah, and we just had this conversation just about just some random stuff or whatever, and I was like, I actually could, what I could tell immediately is that he was going to be a good teammate. That's what I first thought about Greg. I really could. Like you could you could absolutely tell that very quickly. And then that was bored out by how he did. I don't know what time it was, but probably 3 a.m. when he's basically the only one that is still able to open his mouth. I mean, not the only one. I don't want to discount. Could name off plenty of names, but he was taking the lead, taking charge, and you can't do that if you're thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned earlier, he wasn't thinking about himself. Well, yeah, because he couldn't have been. You can't even do what he was doing if you're thinking about yourself. And yeah, I mean, he stepped in and really took care of his team. I mean, me and Blake were back there with him for a while, coming down off the mountain. And if he hadn't been doing what he was doing, I think it would have looked a lot different. I really do.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and you know another thing about him, man. He actually cared.
Oh yeah,
like he still cared about the standard. He still cared about the reputation of his team. He actually cared.
Yeah,
like that, and that's one thing you can't put into people.
No,
because most people are gonna care until they get to hurting real bad. And they don't care anymore. They just care about themselves and finding some way to stop whatever it is they're feeling. And you just don't see that in people a lot.
Yep.
Well, Greg didn't even know. He's told me multiple times, I didn't know what I was signing up for, but this is not what I thought it was going to be. He said, I thought I'd show up and Chad was going to tell us like 10 things we could do to be better, and then we was going to go home. That's kind of what it is.
Could have did that.
Well, it is basically what it is.
Yeah.
Could have just rented a cabin and went out on some day hikes. So, no, it's fun to talk about that. And the reason we talk about these on the podcast is so that we can take the lessons learned from these missions and share it with you guys that weren't able to be there. And it would be a waste if we didn't. So that's the whole reason we talk about them on here. And yeah, so many other stories from there. We can't possibly recap it all. Other awesome moments of leadership and moments of strength and rallying and tons of other mistakes made and all that. It would be impossible without having each person on here to tell their experience about what they learned and what they went through, because we're only seeing things from a 30,000 foot view. We don't see every single moment of every person's experience out there, obviously. So if we missed you in this conversation, don't think that we didn't love you. No. We just are on a limited amount of time here. And again, we appreciate the opportunity. That's all I got for today.
Well, I want to say one other thing. We've had quite a few comments, people just asking about what's going on with you here. And Chad has went goth, and so he's painted his fingernails, and you should see his outfit when he's not coming on the podcast. He's got all black on, and he stopped mid fingernail painting for some reason.
These are my new tattoos.
So
I got tattoos that just made me look like I'm dirty.
Yeah, he's went goth.
I didn't even know goth was still a thing.
Yeah, man, that's why you're bringing it back.
Every toenail and fingernail was black, but he tried to remove it all with nail polish remover before he came on, but he missed a few.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we'll be headed out soon. Go out and see Nick Bear in Austin, Texas. And we'll be back in the game after that. I'll do a little pre-record for you guys on this coming up week's episode. But if you have something you want me to talk about on a solo episode for next week, drop it in the comments of this video right here on YouTube. All right. So if you have some questions, if you have any topics you want me to discuss on next week's episode, drop it in the comments of this video, and I'll try to hit it. We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Enough said.